Zaffer presents Taste of Blood, written by Lynda La Plante and read by Rachel Atkins. Chapter 1. D.I. Jane Tennison arrived at her new station, hoping for a fresh start. She'd been transferred at her own request after she'd investigated the case of the bodies found in an old air raid shelter. She had been proud of the way she had handled the complex inquiry, but the DCI had given her little credit, and she had found it impossible to continue working alongside him. Jane had worked at 3 other stations on a variety of cases, but none of them had really stretched her. After taking a months-long overdue leave, she had been eager to find out where she would be posted. She had requested that it be closer to Bromley, as the travel had been an issue on the last investigation she had worked on. One case in particular had been centred around Greenwich, which was a long drive from where she lived. She had become rather disillusioned with her career, and had even considered, albeit half-heartedly, quitting the Met. And when she had received the details of her new posting, it didn't immediately make her feel any more positive. Although it was closer to home, the station only had a very small CID section. However, on the plus side, Jane was interested in meeting her new boss, DCI Fiona Hutton. She had never worked alongside a high-ranking woman and wondered if it would give her career the boost it needed. Jane was now living with Eddie Myers, and they were engaged to be married, although they had not yet agreed a date for the wedding. Partly because they'd been so focused on refurbishments to the house. Eddie's handiwork had already almost doubled the property's value, and he was now working on the front and back gardens, laying down paving and ordering trees and plants. During her leave, Jane had enjoyed spending time with Eddie, helping him to put the finishing touches to the redecoration, though at times she had found their lack of a shared interest beyond the house a little bit worrying. But he was so caring and good-natured that she put her doubts aside. And he certainly impressed her with his work ethic. He was becoming increasingly successful as a builder and renovator, and he and his team were working non-stop. The drive to her new station only took 15 minutes, and Jane arrived dressed in one of her smart suits, with a white shirt and Cuban-heeled shoes. She had recently had her hair cut shorter at her sister's salon, and Pam had encouraged her to have some more highlights. She was pleased to see there was a parking bay marked D.I. Jane Tennison on a white plaque, and she was smiling as she made her way to the modern-looking double-glass-fronted entrance. Inside, the reception area was small, with a pine desk, typewriter and telephone, and a row of 3 hard-backed chairs against one wall. The access into the station offices was situated behind the desk and had a security keypad. The door was ajar, and as Jane approached, a young red-haired uniformed officer walked out. "Good morning. I'm D.I. Jane Tennison." He smiled. "Good morning, ma'am. I'm Constable Peter Thompson. If you go straight down the corridor, you'll see the main double doors for the CID office. I'll inform DCI Hutton that you've arrived." The young man stepped to one side to allow Jane to pass, holding the door open and then closing it behind her. The strip lighting on the ceiling gave the corridor a clinical feel, not unlike a hospital, and it seemed much less atmospheric than any of the stations Jane had previously worked at. Jane hesitated, then opened the door and walked in. It was a spacious room, with a double row of empty desks with typewriters and telephones, all with decent swivel office chairs. Placed along one wall facing the desks was a large whiteboard with various scrawled felt-tip messages. The office door to one side was closed and had a neat plaque saying DCI F. Hutton. As Jane was taking in the empty room, the office door opened and a middle-aged woman in a tweed suit with a pink blouse came out carrying a thick file. "You must be D.I. Jane Tennison. I'm Dora Phillips, head of the clerical staff. I think that desk by the window has been allocated to you. Right now..."
Sample complete. Ready to continue?